What does the future hold for Otega Oweh? He talked to the media of the Portland Trailblazers, and I think that's going to kind of open the eyes to what's happening for Kentucky's star guard. We'll talk about that on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, publisher over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI. Joined, as always, by Carson Nash. And Carson, what are you dragging us and the fellas into this evening?
Yeah, none other than the greatest event of all time put on by the Burl Brew. It's called the Silent Disco, and it's the Yeehaw version tonight. So I'm really excited. Get your jeans and boots on because we stepping.
Oh, I am. That's my plan. I'm jeans and booting it. I might even flannel it. We might go full on boot scoot boogie here. And then what's tomorrow? Another big day.
Tomorrow's the opening of the pool day. Pool series is starting tomorrow.
Nash Poolside Paradise. It's going to be, the beer dye are going to be flowing early and often. The Sprite dye, excuse me. So yeah, fun weekend here for us. But so of course yesterday we get these quotes from Otega Oweh. I guess he had a workout with the Trailblazers, which if I was him, I'd not want to be a part of the Portland Trailblazers. But hey, you know what? Do you? And so we got some quotes. There are two interesting quotes. I've heard a lot of Kentucky fans concerned about the first quote, and maybe they haven't seen the second quote. Maybe that's what's happened here. But so Carson, read the first quote for us, the one that has folks concerned.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of media reacting to this first quote, which is Otega's thoughts about the draft process. And he says, "I'm all in. I have one more year eligibility, but my goal is to play in the NBA. So I'm not doing this process 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm all in." And then that's where the clickbait article titles came from.
Yeah.
And then if you keep reading on and actually finish the article, he says, I wouldn't say it's completely false, but I believe I'm a first round guy. So I'm just going to get through these workouts, give it my all. And then when it's said and done, I'll see where I'm at, and then I'll make that decision. And so he's doing the right thing.
The question there that led to that quote was, because there were the rumors it's first rounder back to college for him, and they asked that, like, is that true? Is that the plan? Is it first rounder back to college? And he said, what was it? I wouldn't say they're completely false. Is that what he said? Like,
yeah,
that's the quote to me. I mean, first of all, the folks that are getting, and here's the deal. Until I see a tweet that says, "I'm back, baby, let's roll, number 9 on the way," I'm going to have just a hair of stress about this. That's just a reality. I think everybody is. It's just, the uncertainty. You never know. Until it's gone, you're going to just have a little bit of concern about it. I think we all feel that way. But I think that quote to me, and that's what I heard originally, was if he's not going to go in the first round, he plans to come back to UK. And I'll tell you this, there's no way in hell he's going in the first round. It's not happening. The only chance that he has to get drafted, and Carson, you tell me if you agree, is if he is banking, crossing his fingers on going with the last 5, maybe 10 picks.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. And here's the thing. I mean, the first round, him wanting a first round pick is definitely, there's buzz there, because me and you heard Travis Perry to Ole Miss way before it actually happened.
Yeah.
We also heard Otega Oweh, he wants the first rounder, he's coming back. So me and you we've been skeptical on everyone saying, "Oh, he's leaving, whatever." I still think there's a 95% chance he's back. Plus, if you look at the workout videos from the Portland workout, he still has that hitch in his shot, and I don't think NBA GMs are going to love that.
This is the first time, ironically, because the media, we get to go down on the floor during the warm up. So I've seen him shoot up close, but I've never seen him shoot from behind it until that video. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times you see a side angle, or you see from in the front with that hit. You know what's so frustrating about that hitch? If he just didn't do it, he has a fluid shot.
And it's a great jump shot.
Good shot. But the hitch, it's unnecessary. Now,
Did you give us a triple threat pose?
I like it. I do get in the triple threat because
you do
I'll do anything with the ball.
You're a triple threat guy.
Yeah. But seriously, like what I'm saying is if he got rid of the hitch, I think that he has a good shot for him. The hitch is literally just like and then continue on the shot. Just shoot the ball. There's no need for the hitch. Now, I think taking it out might speed him up a bit, but I'm just telling you, I think it would take him a month this offseason to get rid of that hitch and just shoot the shot he's already shooting without the hitch. It's not like the hitch is like he's putting the ball over here and then go. It's like the hitch kind of loads him into his shot. He just has to get rid of it. It would make his shot that much faster. And I think that's what made that to me. And I've said this, I've been very open about this. That's what makes him a first-round pick. That right there is what makes him a first-round pick. So at the end of the day, he's got to get rid of that hitch at some point.
Yeah, I agree. But there's also a reason he was invited to these camps and stuff, right? And I think part of that is his defensive upside. And a lot of the NBA GMs see that as him being 6'5", super athletic, can guard pretty much every 1 through 4 almost because of his body. And so I think Oweh is a guy to keep an eye on in that aspect because he kind of translates to the NBA as more of a defensive guy than more of an offensive weapon.
And they call me Andrew Dream Crusher Stefaniak for a reason, but I'm just let me just tell you all my thoughts on this. Otega Oweh, one of my favorite players. He'll be my favorite player on the team this year. He'd be silly to not come back to Kentucky. And that is not the fans that are, I want if I thought that it was a good decision for him to go to the league, I'd be all for it. I just don't think it is. The kid's going to get, I saw $3.5 million to come back to Kentucky. He'll probably get more once Paul Miller Ford and Clark's pump and chop. Once he gets to pumping and shopping and saving on his snacks and stuff, he's going to get a lot more money exactly. He's going to get a lot more money in the transfer portal. In the NIL. He's going to get a lot more money from other, like I said, those two companies than just the $3.5 million he's getting from Kentucky. So what I'm saying is, I think if he comes back to Kentucky and takes that 16.2 points per game and elevates it to 17, 18, 19, 20, while improving as a three-point shooter, continuing to defend well and on a really good Kentucky team, he's going to improve his draft stock. He's not going to hurt it. He's not going to hurt his draft stock. Him being 1 year older will not hurt his draft stock much. What will kill him is if he gets picked with the 57th overall pick to the Boston Celtics, and he's, never going to play. He's going to go and play for the Blue Crabs or whatever their G League team
They
is
have
called.
They have an Otega Oweh that's already established there. Drew Holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
And he is much, much better.
All right, I got to see. Is the Celtics team really called the if the Celtics G League team is really called the Blue Crabs, that's an all-time ball knower thing for me. Because I know, let's just see if I was right about that. Oh, it's the Maine Celtics. There is a Blue Crabs. Okay, now I got to see which team it is. But, Carson, I just think that he is a player that could benefit from one more season in college. The Delaware Blue. Okay, there's not a Blue Crabs. Maybe that is a baseball AAA team or something. There you go. There's a question of the day. Blue Crabs is a semi-professional team of some part. Let us know who it is, because now I'm curious who it is. But I know there's a professional sports team called the Blue Crabs, so let me know.
Yeah.
But Carson, I just think that Oweh could benefit from where you're in college while making that money. He will be a victim. Listen, in the G League, he'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, if he went and played in Hungary, he's going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's how this works. That's the reality. But he could come back to Kentucky, get 3.5 mil plus, or more, and then potentially go higher in the draft, then do that. Let's say and then he does that, doesn't make it as a pro, then he can go to, Bulgaria and make $300,000. That's why I just think it makes so much sense for him to come back to Kentucky.
Yeah, I think, and you're right, because it's a money thing, but at the same time, it's not too. Because in the G League, you're riding the bus, you're going to these cities that you don't care about. There's no fans there. Like, it's a whole different ball game when you're playing for Kentucky. And so I think Otega is going to be smart enough to realize, oh, I need to come back. I need to work on my shot creation. I need to work on having the ball in my hands more often and distributing the ball, that sort of thing. Because you know how good he is at driving to the rim and defending. Like those two things aren't going to change. So he just needs to work on some more of his game and develop a little further, because I think he can be an NBA guy if he does do that.
I agree. I just think at his height, and I mean, his percentage
has to dribble the ball better.
Yeah, and he has to shoot better. I mean, at the end of the day, to play in the NBA, you have to be able to consistently make 3-point jump shots.
You have to be able to take people off the dribble.
I agree with you on that, but I don't think Otega Oweh can do that right now. And I know that. I mean, he shot a lot of people. I think a lot of people get frustrated when whether it's you and I, Carson, or anybody talks about Oweh's 3-point shooting, because he did technically shoot 35.5%. I mean, it wasn't awful.
But 95% of those shots are set shots.
Exactly. And 95% of them are wide open and set, wide open set shots.
Wide open.
Yeah. I mean, he did not make a hand in his face three that often this season, if ever. He just didn't. He's got to get better to succeed in the NBA. He's got to get better at shooting the three ball.
I will say this, though. I think his mid-range game improved immensely throughout the season last year. And I think in the tournament, we started to see more of him, like being able to create in the mid-range. And if he can continue to progressively do that, I think the sky's the limit for that dude.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying he plays like Giannis, just put your head down and drive to the rim and dunk and lay it in and all that, get and ones. But he's 6'5". And I'm saying he's a great player right now. He's going to be elite next year for Kentucky. But if his goal, which we know it is to be an NBA player, he's going to have to develop in some of those areas. That's why I think one more year in college would serve Oweh well. And that's not, once again, that's not Carson and I sitting here saying, well, come back. We want to be. No, like I think that's genuinely what's best for him. That's not us just saying that.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, there's so much more on the table here. There's a chance to win a championship, a chance to win the National Player of the Year. And the G League, what are you going to do? And no one cares about the G League.
Play for the Blue Crabs, obviously.
That don't exist.
Yeah, no, they exist somewhere. Someone's going to let us know that. So any other thoughts on Oweh, Carson? Because we want to talk a little bit about the Louisville game, which is
no, that's all I got on him. Like I said, I still think he's most likely to return.
Yeah, give me a percentage on it. Out of 100%, and how confident? I'd say 92. We're that confident here. I really don't. People are a little concerned about it. I just don't see it being an issue. I think he's going to come back to Kentucky.
He loves Kentucky too, so he knows.
So, Louisville game scheduled for, when was it, Carson?
Was it November 11th?
I think that's what it was. I mean, I absolutely hate this. I think it's awful. I mean, what were your thoughts? Let me. I want to make sure we get the exact date before we get to talking about it. So 1 second here. Hold on. When did this happen? Oh yeah, there it is. November 11th, Tuesday, November 11th in the KFC Yum Center. Carson, what are your thoughts on it now? What were your original thoughts on it?
I hate it. I really, really, really hate it. And I don't understand why it has to be so early in the season, because it's going to be during football season. I know it's on a Tuesday night. Why the heck is it on a Tuesday night? It should be on a Saturday in December and get all the coverage in the world. There's going to be 2 top 5 teams. They deserve the number one showing, the best ratings, everything. And I think they're doing us a disservice by having it on a Tuesday in November.
Well, part of the issue here is, unlike some other rivalries, we are not in the same conference as our rival. Duke UNC is always going to get all that coverage because they're both in the ACC. You see it now,
like with, Auburn, Alabama football.
Yeah, if all these teams are in the same conference, so that game's always going to be either in conference play. For football, like you said, for the Kentucky Louisville game, it's still on rivalry weekend, which that's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, first of all, you're right. I think that these are 2 basketball teams that deserve the best. They deserve the best coverage. They're 2 great teams, top 10 for sure. A chance at top 5. This is going to be one of the best games. The Kentucky Louisville rivalry has been forgotten. And
let me pause you real quick. Can I pause you real quick?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said top 5. Probably top 10, top 15. I forgot Alec Cleef is their big man. Sorry. All right, go ahead.
Got it. Okay, that's pretty funny. What about Keyshawn Pryor? What's the stress, Louisville? I'm not going anywhere. I love that video. No,
that made me want to like scratch myself back. That was like so cringe.
That was rough. When I saw that, I was just like,
just nails on the chalkboard.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. But and that kid's also, he's a good player. If let's say they somehow beat us and he goes for 24, he's going to be on my all-time I don't like this kid list. I'll just tell you that right now. Nothing he's done. I'm sure he's a great guy. I just not going to like him.
Hey, Keyshawn, Modi is coming.
Yeah, you can tell him that for sure. That's going to be scary for him. But seriously, this is a forgotten rivalry, Carson. And I don't think that's bold to say. It is. And it's not our fault. It's not our fault.
Definitely not our fault.
No, it's not our fault. It is Kenny Payne's fault. If you actually want to point fingers at someone, it's Kenny Payne's fault.
Greatest Kentucky coach ever.
Yeah.
Does great at Kentucky, leaves Kentucky, and destroys Louisville. Yeah. He's a hero in Lexington in my book. And we're friends with Zan Payne. So
yes, we do love we went to high school. I actually went to school with Zan his whole life because he was a Seton with me. But I just think that this is such a silly day to have this game. Because first of all, like you said, Carson, it's the Tuesday thing's annoying already. But we're going to have football is going to be going on. It's going to be the heat of getting ready for the playoff. And I'm just telling you, college basketball does not get as good a coverage during those last few weeks of the college football season. And this game is going to be apps. And I know it's on a Tuesday. It's not going to be like, we're not going to be fighting with college football, but it's going to be, it's people aren't going to care as much as they would. Now, Kentucky fans will, and Louisville fans will. But I'm saying the outside world won't, because they're going to be still focused on college football. So what I'm asking is, let this be a one-off. Let this be a one-time. I'll never forget watching this game. My family was always in town, because it was always around Christmas. It was
always. It's always in the 2020s in December, like the 21st, like 29th,
and
whatever.
My family would be in town, and we would get on the couch all together. My out-of-town family, they're from Lexington, and we would all watch the Kentucky-Louisville game together. And that was awesome. And that hasn't been the case, for a while. And I kind of miss that tradition, and I wish we could get back to it. Yeah,
no, 100%. And I think, like I said, it's a disservice for both of these programs. We should be the pedestal. Everyone hypes up Duke, UNC. UNC has been awful for the past couple of years. They've been terrible. So I think, and now Louisville's starting to become good. And I do like Pat Kelsey. I think he's doing a great job with them. So I think this rivalry should be bumped to the pedestal, because Kentucky basketball as a whole, the state, is the best basketball there is. So
yeah, I think that this year, I think this is going to be one of the best Kentucky-Louisville games we've seen since it was Pitino-Calipari. I think that's for sure. And I think that it's going to get this rivalry back to the top of that list with the Duke UNC, and it's going to be right up there with it. And when that happens, I think that you're going to see us get back to a spot in the December 21st, 20th, that this game deserves to be, when everyone's off work with their families, having a good time. Everyone's in town. All the Kentuckians are back in town with their family. And that's when this game should be. And I do think that maybe one good year and we could get back to there. I mean, unless this is the plan for a long time, but I didn't see anywhere in writing that is the plan.
Do we also want to acknowledge the fact that this could be for a reason?
Well, I don't. The only reason I don't want to say that is because we just don't know, who. I don't know who made this decision. I don't think Louisville made this decision.
Well, they did have to. They cut conference games. I know that for a fact. Something messed up in the schedule, but I think it's bogus. If JQ's not on the floor, that's soft by them for scheduling it that early in the season.
I mean, I think he's going to be, based on what they said
the
other day.
And I'm not worried about it either way. We're going to win.
I do too. I mean, once again, I think that Brandon Garrison will be. You think Brandon Garrison's going to be shy down the competition in that game?
Speaking of BG, have you seen the videos of him surfacing around? He's looking like he's developing under our under our eyes. You seen any of his workout videos?
I saw a video of him. He had some different tools that did not look fun to work out with. I saw some of that. But, seriously, I think that that kid in rivalry games, golly. I double dog dare Louisville to poke the bear if JQ can't play. You poke the Brandon Garrison bear. You put him and Mo D out there. Have fun. Have fun with that.
Mo D BG in rivalry games is going to be terrible. Terrifying.
Yeah, you put them together, terrible God. And terrifying. Terrible.
Terrible. Exactly. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's a new word. Y'all can use that. We haven't trademarked it yet.
It's close to terrible, which is what I was thinking, because Louisville is terrible.
Touche. Yeah, touche. Just what a terrible fan base.
City.
Yeah, touche. Not a big fan. I like this Louisville Slugger Museum. It's great, but it's really it. That's the only good thing about Louisville, I think. I also saw Flatland Cavalry. Lord Huron there. That was fun. That's the only other good thing about Louisville.
Yeah.
All right, Carson, any other thoughts before we call it a day?
That's all I got. I hope everybody has a fantastic Friday. Enjoy the weather this weekend. It's supposed to be nice. And happy Mother's Day on Sunday to all the moms. We love and appreciate all of you. So shout out, especially to Christy Nash. Love you, Mom.
Yeah. My mother, Dana Stefaniak, and I will be in Atlanta for the Post Malone concert. That was her Christmas gift from me. So we're going to have, which happened to fall on Mother's Day, which is awesome. We're going to have a really good time. So happy Mother's Day, of course, to your mother, Carson, and to all of the mothers out there. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great weekend. Tell your mother you love them, and we'll see you next time on the Wildcats Today podcast.